Every single day, something new is happening around the Los Angeles Rams, and today is no exception. We've got two major stories to break down, and both of them could have fans talking for completely different reasons. One is about a blockbuster name that's suddenly being connected to the Rams, while the other involves another star player who could completely change the conversation around this team if the rumors have any truth behind them. The interesting part is that not every big name is automatically the right fit. Sometimes the flashiest move isn't the smartest move, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. Could the Rams really make another splash after an already aggressive offseason, or are some of these rumors getting way ahead of reality? Trust me, there's a lot to unpack, and I think some Rams fans are going to have very different opinions once we go through all the details. But before we jump in, if you're enjoying the daily Rams coverage, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. I'm Jake, and this is Rams House Daily. We're still a brand new channel with our first goal of reaching 200 subscribers. So if you're a real Rams fan who believes this team has what it takes to make another Super Bowl run, subscribe and become part of this community from the very beginning. The first story is one that has been making the rounds over the last few hours, and honestly, when you first hear the name involved, it's easy to get excited. According to reports, Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive tackle Vita Vea has requested a trade, and one of the biggest details fueling the speculation is that he'd reportedly prefer to play either for the Las Vegas Raiders or for a team in California. Naturally, that immediately put the Los Angeles Rams into the conversation. When a player like Vita Vea becomes available, people are going to connect him to every contender. He's a two-time Pro Bowler, one of the most dominant nose tackles in football, and any defense would look better on paper with him lining up in the middle. But here's where things get interesting. Just because the Rams could make a move doesn't necessarily mean they should. The Rams have already shown everyone this offseason that they're pushing their chips to the center of the table. Every move they've made has sent one clear message. This team believes it can compete for a Super Bowl right now. Because of that aggressive approach, it's no surprise that every major trade rumor somehow ends up involving Los Angeles. Around the league, people simply assume the Rams are willing to make another splash. One proposal that caught attention came from Josh Chrysler of the Pewter Plank, who put together 3 possible trade packages for Vita Vea. His Rams proposal had Los Angeles sending Braden Fisk, Colby Parkinson, and a 6th-round draft pick in next year's draft to Tampa Bay. Chrysler explained his reasoning by saying that adding Vita Vea to a defensive front featuring Myles Garrett, Byron Young, and Kobe Turner, while even mentioning the possibility of Aaron Donald potentially coming out of retirement, would create one of the most dominant defensive lines in football. He also pointed out that Colby Parkinson is coming off the best season of his career after producing 400 receiving yards and 8 touchdown catches. And with the Rams' depth at tight end, he could become a movable piece in the right deal. As for Braden Fisk, Chrysler acknowledged that he isn't a direct replacement for Vita Vea at nose tackle, but highlighted how disruptive Fisk has already proven to be after recording 8.5 sacks as a rookie back in 2024. Now, from the Rams' perspective, this is where I think most fans would probably say thanks, but no thanks. Giving up Braden Fisk feels like way too steep of a price. Sure, he may not start every game, but the Rams clearly value his versatility. He can line up in different spots, brings energy every snap, and still has plenty of room to develop. Players like that are incredibly valuable, especially on a roster that's built with both the present and the future in mind. If the proposal had been Colby Parkinson, a 6th-round pick, and someone further down the depth chart like Ty Hamilton, then maybe there's at least a conversation to be had. But including Fisk changes everything. The other thing people have to remember is that the Rams already addressed the nose tackle position. They brought in Poona Ford, and the coaching staff appears very comfortable with what he brings to the defensive front. Adding Vita Vea would absolutely make the defense even stronger, but it starts to feel more like a luxury than an actual need. Sometimes building a championship roster isn't about collecting the biggest names available. It's about making sure every move actually fills a weakness. Right now, defensive tackle isn't really a weakness for Los Angeles. So while Vita Vea is still one of the league's premier interior defenders, this feels more like a case of the rich getting richer rather than solving an actual problem. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if we continue seeing the Rams connected to blockbuster names over the coming weeks. Their aggressive offseason has changed the way the rest of the NFL views them. Every time a star becomes available, analysts and insiders are going to wonder whether Los Angeles is preparing to make one more huge move. Now let's move to our second story, because this one could have an even bigger impact on the Rams offense. According to growing league speculation, the Los Angeles Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs have emerged as two of the most intriguing landing spots for Dallas Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens. It's pretty remarkable when you think about how quickly Pickens has become the center of trade conversations. He was only traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Dallas Cowboys last year, yet now his future in Dallas is already being questioned because of the Cowboys' long-term salary cap situation. Multiple teams have reportedly been linked to him, including the Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Rams, Baltimore Ravens, and previously even the Las Vegas Raiders. The biggest reason? Money. George Pickens is currently playing on a one-year franchise tag worth $27.29 million, and he'll become an unrestricted free agent in 2027. For Dallas, trading him would immediately clear the entire $27.29 million from their salary cap because his contract contains no signing bonus, meaning there would be no dead cap penalty if they moved him. That financial flexibility is extremely valuable for a Cowboys team already, dealing with several massive long-term contracts. One of those is CeeDee Lamb's deal, which is scheduled to pay him $34 million next season. Because of that commitment, many analysts believe Dallas could struggle to justify paying another elite receiver top-of-the-market money. Cooper Kleinberg of PFSN recently pointed to Pickens' incredible production during his first season in Dallas. According to Kleinberg, catching passes from Dak Prescott, Pickens finished the 2025 season with 93 receptions, 1,429 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns. He also posted a 90.6 impact score, ranking third among all NFL wide receivers according to PFN's grading system. Kleinberg argued that Pickens has already proven he can be a legitimate number one receiver based on both his talent and production. But Dallas' financial reality could ultimately make keeping both him and CeeDee Lamb extremely difficult. As for the Rams, this is where things get really interesting. Unlike Kansas City, which reportedly has around $13 million in available cap space, the Rams are sitting closer to $21 million, making a trade much more realistic financially. And if you start imagining George Pickens catching passes from Matthew Stafford, it's easy to understand why so many people are talking about this possibility. Pickens is one of the league's most dangerous deep threats. His ability to stretch the field, win contested catches, and create explosive plays would fit naturally into Sean McVay's offense and could give Stafford another elite weapon capable of changing games with one play. Of course, none of this means a trade is actually going to happen. Dallas would almost certainly demand a significant return. Reports suggest they could ask for either a first-round draft pick or a high second-round pick plus an established starter, which is a hefty price for any contender. So while it's fun to imagine Pickens wearing horns this season, the front office would have to decide whether adding another star receiver is worth sacrificing valuable draft capital and proven talent already on the roster. At the end of the day, both of today's stories tell us something important about where the Rams stand. Whether it's Vita Vea or George Pickens, Los Angeles is now viewed across the NFL as one of the league's most aggressive contenders. Whenever an elite player becomes available, the Rams are automatically part of the conversation because everyone knows this franchise isn't afraid to make bold moves if it believes it gets them closer to another Lombardi trophy. Now, it's up to the front office to separate exciting headlines from the moves that truly make this team better. What do you think, Rams fans? Would you trade for Vita Vea if it meant giving up Braden Fisk? And if George Pickens really became available, would you pay the price to bring him to Los Angeles? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I really want to hear where Rams Nation stands on both of these rumors. And if you enjoyed today's update, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Rams House Daily. We're still chasing our first goal of 200 subscribers. If you truly believe this Rams team has what it takes to compete for another Super Bowl, join the community and be here with us from the very beginning. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.